Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest and greatest episode of the Lowbot Podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Josh.
And we are back at the Bachelor Pad. We are back at the Trap House. We're back at the... Crackdown!
You remembered to say our names this time.
Yeah, we completely forgot to say our names
Yeah.
last week. I'll say it again because we didn't say it at last week's intro. I'm Tyler.
I'm Josh.
And we are back.
Yeah, and is it Cam that made the intro?
Yes,
The
we didn't
intro
mention that
music?
last week
Yeah,
either.
shout out to Cam.
Killer Cam, Young King, the God Pozzer, made our new intro. Thank you very much, Killer Cam.
Love it.
Yeah, we're very happy with it. We decided to change up our intro because the last one we had was just public domain.
Funny story about that. So our very first intro, we found it was just royalty free.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it just popped up everywhere. It was like in the
Yeah.
middle of a Bad Barbie, like
Bad
Danielle
Baby song.
Bregoli video. If you know that lady, it was in the middle of that music
It was
video.
in a bunch of YouTubers' videos,
Yeah.
a bunch of YouTubers' intros, and we're like,
Gotta get it. And then you're like, I've got it. I'm gonna do the new intro for the low block. All right, and I was like, cool. I've not really seen how you make audio stuff,
Yeah.
so I was intrigued, and it was good. What you did was great. It really captured how our personalities are, and then I upload it, and it gets a copyright strike
instantly. Turns out it wasn't different enough from what I mixed.
So in the back of my mind, what you've done is just copied a song from somewhere that I've never heard of.
No, I found some like neat French funk beat from like the 80s. I chopped it up
Yeah.
a bit, did my little thing to it. Apparently not enough, and I still got copyright strict.
Speaking, you just reminded me of something which I've realized is completely not a thing anymore, and it's not basketball related. But
What's that?
do you remember when hip hop artists used to do albums?
Yeah.
and then
They still do.
no, believe it or not, they still do. Yeah, but then shortly after they do a chopped and screwed version, like especially
Yeah.
if you're a southern artist.
Yeah.
and it's just so.
It was a
weird to
big
me.
thing in the South.
Yeah, and it was because I was going through some like old artists who used to listen to on Spotify. I'm like, wow, this was a thing, and it sucked. I don't know.
It sounded like a fond memory, and then
No.
you're like,
No, chopped and
Like
screwed
the
albums
B-side.
suck.
remember B-sides?
Who the fuck is B-side? Who's B?
The B-side to like an album.
I don't remember at all.
So I remember this was a big thing in the early 2000s of hip hop. You'd have your album, then you'd have the B-side.
Oh, the
Where it was the
B-side,
dud
yeah,
tracks that didn't make the album, but you could still put it in there as extra
It
content.
sounded like an off-brand of the Beastie Boys.
I guarantee there's a rapper out there called B-side.
Yeah, it sounds like a rapper name.
Yeah, a really bad white rapper.
Yeah, actually. But yeah, we got some basketball to talk about.
We've got basketball to talk about. Each of us got some notes this week.
Look, this is all the notes you're getting from me this year.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
this four.
Yeah,
That
these
is
four.
not you. You have more notes than anyone.
Well, I don't know about anyone, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Like I'm looking at your phone right now, and there is paragraphs, and I want to give you a quick glimpse.
Oh, you're useless. You're useless.
3 or 4 lines.
God, if you call those lines, I saw a few words.
Everything's up here, my friend. Everything's off the dome.
You like Lil Wayne.
There ain't no B-sides to this
No,
podcast.
Lil Wayne. Do you think Lil Wayne actually writes stuff now, or is too afraid to admit it?
No, he does not write. I
He has
guarantee.
to. He has to.
Nah.
There's no way he has.
Have you
catalogs and
heard
catalogs.
his latest verses? There's no way they're written.
No, you're right. It's all ad libs.
It's
right?
all ad libbed.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're like, okay, Wayne, you want to go for version 2? He's like, version 2. I'm Tonchi. Like, that's it. He's done. He walks out.
Oh goddamn. Yeah. Listening to that collab with Rich the Kid, I think.
Yeah.
It was. It's like, yeah, this is not good.
This is not good.
There's a song called Tunchi.
Yeah.
It sucks.
He's Lil Tunchi.
But I'm excited for the B-side. Check that out.
Let's get into some basketball. And a team that kind of looks a bit B-side right now, my boys, the Denver Nuggets.
Okay. All right. I thought we were going to go with a different team, but
We'll start with my boys because we were meaning to talk about them since last week.
Yep.
They look fucking unstoppable when Jokic is on the court.
So Jokic doesn't get a lot of praise. Jokic, obviously MVP of the league, still
the
playing
reigning,
like it.
reigning defending.
Like he has come in this season like there's been no off season. Like
Yeah.
I'm ready to keep playing.
Yeah, he's rode so many horses out in Serbia,
Yeah.
and now he's back. He rode the horse to Serbia.
Oh yeah, and he just looks phenomenal. And I can't praise him enough. You know, he's one of the most unique big men we're ever going to see. In my opinion, the best passing big man we've seen.
One of the most skilled players in the league currently.
Absolutely, and does not look like it, but
Yeah.
everything else, like everyone watching, you saw my face kind of grimace. Everything else on this squad, I hate.
Absolutely useless.
I'd never thought I'd say this, but I genuinely miss Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so for those that don't know, Aaron Gordon got about $90 million. MPJ got the max.
He did, yes.
Okay. And with Jamal Murray out, we need these two guys to really step up and be a temporary second option.
Yeah.
while
And that was
Jamal out.
hopefully be MPJ because in the latter half of the last season and in the playoffs, MPJ was the second option.
Yep.
And then this season, I know, granted, a few games, but MPJ hasn't gotten
First
into
4
that groove.
games, 15 points, 7 points, 11 points, 13 points. Horrible efficiency. He
Yeah.
is shooting 34%.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And my main issue with MPJ, before I touch on Aaron and Gordon, is MPJ was super efficient last season because he didn't have to be a great option.
He didn't have to be the second guy.
He's a great spot up shooter, can shoot through contact, which is insane. He's got the height just like KD.
100%. Considering his body type, he's able to
Yeah.
play through contact very, very well.
Very, very skilled player. But and we've mentioned this time and time again. To be a first option, a second option, and even sometimes a third option, you have to be a shot creator.
Yes.
And MPJ is anything but.
Yeah, he considering he's got an incredible skill set, he hasn't he's not a shot creator yet.
It's not. Like, it's not even close. Like, the amount of times... Because he's not... The issue I have with MPJ right now is he's not a shot creator, but he's also not a Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
He's somewhere in between, and that doesn't work. You need to either be a Klay Thompson where... And there are plenty of those in the league. I don't want to throw out, like, everyone's as good as Klay Thompson, but there are other players like your Kyle Korvers of the world.
Your Joe Harris's.
Yes, there are players like that do not need to have the ball, but they'll get buckets.
100%.
And then your other players like your Joe Johnsons of the past and your KDs of now, phenomenal shot creators. And MPJ doesn't fit either of those.
No.
Right now is a mediocre in between.
He hasn't found his niche on how his play style is. And it's, like, I understand it. He's started out getting little minutes. Then last year he had, I don't want to say a breakout season, but he had his best season so far. In the third option, I feel like that was a really good spot for him where he can slowly develop his skill set. And now obviously he's been thrust into that second option spot with Jamal Murray's injury. And so his shot creation skill set isn't there, but the weight is on his shoulders to create shots when Jokic is off the court. Because Jokic can't do everything. He is doing everything.
He is. He's absolutely doing
The
everything.
moment he sits, we look like a bunch of slugs.
It reminds me of back when Kobe had absolutely no help.
Yeah.
As soon as he was on the bench, boy, we had a sorry-ass team. And that's unfortunately kind of what it is now. Like, you guys have let a lot of decent role players just walk for whatever reason.
Like, I said it during the off season, we went down,
Yeah.
right? Like, we picked up Jermichael Green and Jeff Green. I love Jeff Green, but why?
He doesn't move the needle at all.
It barely helps. Like, with our trades throughout last year, we lost Gary Harris, who I have a love-hate relationship with, but I still love him at times. You know what I mean? What was the young uprising star that played in Australia for a little bit with
RJ Hampton?
RJ Hampton. He's a shot creator.
He is.
He's
actually.
not a very
Yeah.
good one, but we could have
Yeah.
developed him more. Like,
Yeah.
we let Millsap go.
You guys do two things really, really weird. It's you let guys walk for absolutely nothing, but the guys that actually have potential, like RJ Hampton, very, very raw. I don't have any stock in RJ Hampton.
Neither do I.
But he is a shot creator. And Denver have proven to develop players pretty well, but they were like, nah, we're just going to let everyone walk.
Yeah.
So it's
and
like
then
you
we'll
draft-
overpay guys.
Yeah, you draft well, but then let them walk, and I don't get it.
It's weird because we do have a good head office.
Yeah.
But this off-season has, like, absolutely bamboozled me.
Yeah, and I don't think it's... The only people to blame is your front office, in all honesty, because I imagine Jokic is a player people want to play with.
Yeah.
People don't like defending bigs. Guess who defends bigs? It's Jokic. Jokic is the center. He doesn't claim to be anything but a center. So you don't have to worry about that. He'll guard the big men.
If you
and
cut, he'll find you.
And is a facilitator, one of the best facilitators in the league, and is an efficient scorer. You don't need to be the number one option. If you're a DeMar DeRozan of the world, something like this, you can come here, you can be the second option. You know, and I don't know where along the lines Denver dropped the ball entirely in the offseason, because we saw so many great, even Washington for that sake, picked up 2 great pieces.
They made moves.
You know, and it's they're 4-1, the Wizards now.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of hurts to see Denver, and I agree with you now, kind of take a step back, unfortunately. You know, even with Aaron Gordon, I think Aaron Gordon is starting to make that a little bit of a step. But even then, it's rough. I think he's only 26.
Yeah, he is young. He is young. He has been in the league for a while.
Yeah. But he hasn't shown, like, usually you see, like, even very early on, like Jaylen Brown, you saw when he just came in the league, there were a few games where it was like, damn, he could be special.
Yeah, and we've had stock in Jaylen Brown for a while.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a borderline all-star. And at times he looks like a superstar for that franchise. And at no point have you really seen the same thing with Aaron Gordon, despite his incredible skill set in regards to his athleticism, his quickness.
Yeah.
He's got a good eye for defense and positioning, but it's like he doesn't really have a shot. He doesn't really know how to drive, can't finish at the rim too well. And it's just weird. He's kind of got it and he doesn't have it. And it's Denver are now in a weird situation, in my opinion, where you're in a small window now with Jokic. Your second best player is out indefinitely. And now Aaron Gordon and MPJ are thrust into this. Who's going to be our second and third option? Please make this work, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know, and
You've got 6 months. Figure it out.
It's rough, man.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Really,
It
really
is. And like, you and Adam have really blasted me over Denver's max signings of Jamal Murray a few years back, of Aaron Gordon, of MPJ. And I've always defended it as we're a small market, we've got to overpay. But I'm not going to defend us letting guys walk. And you're right, Aaron Gordon is a good defender. He's actually, I'd say he's a very good defender. He can guard multiple positions. But offensively, he just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And he's an all right cutter. And I think the only time he shines is when, guess what? Jokic has got the ball and is passing to him. Yeah. So, look, I feel like MPJ will get back into the swing of it, but he's not ready to be a shot creator just yet.
I agree with you. He's very raw right now. People in these kind of bodies that he has are generally going to require a bit of work. Just to, in regards to how they move on the court, what the feel is. Because a lot of players, in my opinion, like MPJ, they're rhythm shooters for the most part. They need to get into rhythm, and that's very, very important. I was just listening to Raja Bell talk about how important it is for players to get touches. This was actually today at work because I didn't want to socialize. And I love listening. I love listening to Raja Bell. Shout out to Raja Bell because he is insanely intelligent when it comes to professional basketball. And he was saying like he just got traded to a new team, halfway through his career. And Raja Bell, for those that don't know, probably before a lot of people's times, but we grew up, watching Raja Bell for a bit, and he was a great shooter.
Yeah.
Very, very talented player, Raja Bell.
A role player, a glue guy in a lot of teams.
Absolutely. Great, great player. And he was saying, at times when he was traded, you'd see him struggle very early on. It wasn't for the fact that he had to adjust to all these different things in his surroundings. Granted, it does play a part in it. But he was saying one of the most important things is your coach has to understand that if you're a shooter, you need touches. If you score buckets, you need touches. You can't be someone. I'm just going to use Kyle Korver for an example because he just fits.
He just fits that mold. Yeah.
Kyle Korver, whenever you look at him play, he gets touches, even if he's not scoring the ball, and it helps people get acclimated to being on the court and understanding where they need to be and get a feel for it.
It's ball feel as well.
Ball feel, absolutely. So players struggle a lot if the coach doesn't give them touches in the first, half of the quarter and expect them, okay, now we're going to run a play for you. We want you to hit it, and they're going to miss. So I think it's very important for someone like MPJ and Mike Malone to understand that he does need these very touches early on, and that can't change when Jamal Murray comes back.
Yeah.
Granted, I know things are going to change, and Aaron Gordon's and MPJ's roles will change, obviously. But I think it's important because I think the upside for MPJ is going to be greater than Aaron Gordon's.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
I think
there's
that's pretty
no doubt.
evident. So keep him in the flow of the offense early on. Don't just play as a spot-up shooter. Keep things going, but don't let that change when Jamal Murray comes back is
100%.
all I'm going to say.
I 100% agree. I do want to touch on one thing. It's an old thing from Golden State when it was like they were the team, right? And within the first 2 or 3 plays, one of them were always for Clay.
Yes. Yep.
Because A, get Clay a touch, get Clay a feel. Is Clay going to be hot tonight?
Yep.
It was always, typically it's one of the first 2 plays for Clay.
Yep.
Every time Golden State played.
Yep.
So they're just into the same thing. Get shooters a touch early, see how they're feeling.
Love it. And that's, Memphis, not Memphis. Denver have a lot to figure out.
Yep.
But it's just, it's a bit stressful because you're on a small window with Jokic. Jokic is in the prime of his career right now.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that Jamal Murray's down.
It's really rough. You know what I mean? Like, he's the Bonnie to the Clyde. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is what it is. I do want to touch on a different duo. It's the duo out east, the Boston Celtics. I watched a bit of Boston this week.
Yeah.
I have a love for offensive players, right?
We all do.
If you look at my favorite players in history, there's 3 made ones. They don't really play defense. It's Melo, Harden, and KD. KD plays the most defense, right? And they're all just offensive juggernauts. Yep. Jason Tatum is getting up there for me as one of my favorite players to watch.
Oh, I mean, he came into the league, and I'm not even exaggerating. He came into the league, and the talk around the league was, he looks like one of the most polished players we've ever seen come into the league. Mm-hmm. He reminded me instantly of Carmelo Anthony, which is how smooth he was. Melo's shot's still smooth. Mm-hmm. You know, that it just ages like fine wine. And it's going to be the same thing with Jason Tatum. I agree. Jason Tatum is offensively so gifted.
It's incredible.
No flaws in my opinion.
His frame is also getting bigger every season. It seems like his shoulders are getting wider and wider and wider.
I want to say in our first season of doing this pod, we were talking about Jason Tatum. And I think we may have done a Boston Celtics episode in the off season. And it goes to show how much has improved, because one of the things that he really needed to improve on, he could not dribble in front of him.
He couldn't. I remember this. Yeah, he could not put the ball on the floor.
Now he can.
Now
he's elite.
He is absolutely torching dudes.
Yeah, like there is nothing on offense. I've seen him back down players, turn around from the post. He can do hook shots. He can shoot it from the mid. He can shoot it from the 3. He can drive and attack the rim. Insane. He's got insane athleticism. You know, even defensively, he's an elite small forward.
It's wild.
You know, Boston are so lucky to have someone like Jason Tatum. But boy, they're disappointing.
Look, Boston are all weird. Look, they're going through a teething phase.
Yes,
They're figuring it out.
That, yeah.
And look, brand new head coach. It's not only is it a brand new head coach, his first time coaching, it's his first time coaching with his team.
I'm gonna hit you with a hot question.
Yeah.
Is this new Boston coach the right fit, or did Brad Stevens make a mistake?
Brad Stevens should have stayed as coach. I understand there's a lot of stress and he wanted out of coaching, but God, he was a good fucking coach.
He's a really good coach. And everything I've seen so far, because I've watched, I want to say most of the Boston games this year so far. Boy, they look so bad.
Yeah, they haven't looked great.
Like, granted, I know Jaylen Brown shows up and, oh, he looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I see Jason Tatum show up and he looks phenomenal.
The team's also gotten worse, but overall.
Like, if you have these 2 players, they're Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, that is, getting better at the exact same time with the same trajectory, this team should be getting better.
How's the team getting worse?
The team had a conference finals appearance a few years ago.
In Jason Tatum's rookie year.
And has gone down ever since.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what is going on in Boston. It's like it's cursed.
I think it's teething issues.
Okay.
I would never judge a coach on the first 5 games.
Okay. I'm willing to do so. He's not a right fit.
You said this about Jason Kidd too, but I will never judge a coach look, I'm never going to judge a coach on such a small sample size. I'm going to give it half the season.
Okay.
But I just wanted to take 5 seconds out to say I'm loving watching Jason Tatum play. He's a mix between Paul George and T-Mac. and it is fucking incredible.
That's actually a really good way to put it. If I was to put two players together, it'd be those
two.
for Jason Tatum, for sure.
100%.
And then Jaylen Brown just his athleticism is insane.
He's changing a lot. He's changed like his play style and like he's always been a great defender, right from day one. But his skill set is evolving so much constantly.
Crazy.
I don't have a comp for him because he's changing a lot.
Admittedly, I always liked Jaylen Brown. I didn't think he'd be this Jaylen Brown.
No. I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be this good.
Because if I'm going up against Boston, it's one of those situations where who's our main threat right now? Is it Jason Tatum going off for 40 or is it Jaylen Brown going for 40? Yeah. I always thought it would be like, is it Jason Tatum and then Brown
there's
might
a chance.
get 20?
It was like Portland, right? There's Dame and CJ might pop off.
Yeah. But no, this duo is insane. So I hope that Brad Stevens can put the team around him, and I hope that he knows what he's doing with these decisions, because at some point these players are going to get very, very frustrated because they've already, like you said, in his rookie season, made it to the conference finals, got a taste for what this is like, and he's not been able to make it back since. Really, it'd be really frustrating knowing that you're a top player in not just the East in the league. And you can't make it back to the conference finals.
We'll see.
They're one to keep your eye on, for sure.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next topic. What was the next one on your list? Because we did start with two of mine.
Another one of a team that I know you've got a raging heart on for.
Oh, I'm guessing it's the team that I watched today.
It's your true favorite team, the Chicago Bulls.
Don't you dare. They are my second team, my team of the East.
Your side piece, your mistress.
Yeah, one of my two mistresses.
Chicago Bulls, baby.
Yes, and I thankfully got to watch the full game today against one of your teams, your main team, the New York Knicks.
Look, man, I love my Knicks. I guess we talk about both of them. Let's start with Chicago because we haven't spoken about Chicago.
Gotcha. To me, they were the winner of the offseason. Absolutely.
Hands down, A+.
Like, if you pick up Lonzo, DeRozan, and Caruso to pair along your newly acquired Vooch and your absolute scoring machine, Zach LaVine, you win the offseason.
Yep.
And prior to today's game, they were 4-0 against average teams.
No. Right. Quick intermission. 4-0 against Detroit twice.
Detroit, that's... Okay.
With no Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. Detroit are absolute like...
Okay. Toronto, bottom barrel Toronto without Siakam.
Toronto actually looked good in that game.
It doesn't matter if they look good in the game. They're versing the Bulls. Everyone's going to look good against the Bulls. All right, I'm just going to say it how it is. And then the other game that they won, no, it wasn't Cleveland. It was New Orleans, wasn't it? Without Zion.
I thought it was no. Maybe you're right. I thought it was Cleveland.
I'm pretty sure they were the 4, and like.
Oh yeah, Cleveland was preseason. Yeah,
and I was like, okay, like because you see 4-0, like it is a good start for the Chicago Bulls, and I do want to get into the good of it. But we do need to calm down a bit.
Yes. For everyone online, they're like, Chicago it. They faced Detroit twice.
And the first real piece
you and I could lace up for Detroit currently.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. While Cade's out, I'm in. I got you, Cade.
Me, you, Jeremy Grant, one of the Plumleys.
Cade, baby. Let's go. But I'm saying, like, the first real piece of meat that they come across, they lose.
It, to be fair, came down to a game-winning shot. An incredible game to watch. But it's not like they came against a middle-of-the-road Knicks team. This Knicks team looks very fucking good.
Yeah, like the one thing to take out of this, I think, because now they're 4-1, they just lost to the Knicks. Amazing game. I want to rewatch it tonight because I was at work, unfortunately. But it does show how much of improvement this team has had. You know, in the past, if they were versing Toronto even without Siakam last year, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't key that in as a win.
It was like, will Zach LaVine go for 25 or will he go for 45?
Yeah.
If he go for 45, they win. If he go for 25, they lose.
Yeah. And then Brandon Ingram and the Pelicans, I can't guarantee a win.
Yeah.
You know, anything can happen. But this year, obviously, they've shown to stomp those teams. Okay. Now it's a shoo-in.
Yeah.
They're going to beat these teams. And now this is the first real hump they've got to get over is now we actually have to prove that we're real. Not to anyone else but ourselves, that we can beat these other good teams in the East.
Another contending team.
Yeah, because the Knicks are looking really, really good. But more on Chicago, you know, obviously Zach LaVine is taking a leap. He's shown that he can be a consistent first option. I've got nothing bad to say about LaVine.
I do.
okay, wow, this is weird.
It's an issue I've had on LaVine. I am very high on LaVine. He's been one of my boys for a while. I've been singing his praises for years.
Since Minnesota.
But he is an absolute baby when he doesn't get his fucking calls. He has a fucking whinge and plays hero ball. And yes, he is good enough to play hero ball. Years past, I'd say fine, because you've got fucking Cristiano Felicio on your fucking team. You're not going to pass it to him. But now you are surrounded with absolute incredible players. Don't have a whinge and play hero ball.
It'll change. I guarantee it'll change because DeRozan's not taking that shit. Caruso's a game changer.
Yeah.
Lonzo, if he's not happy, he's not going to play well. You got to keep Lonzo happy. This team will pull it together. LaVine will pull it together.
I hope so. Because I was like in the game today in the fourth quarter, LaVine wasn't getting the calls. So he played a bit of hero ball. And like, yes, it worked, but you don't need to. Like pull your fucking head in. You know what I mean?
I do think it's a little bit to do like his frustrations with the rule changes where it is keeping defenders, a little more satisfied with them allowing to be a bit more physical.
Yeah.
You can no longer, as an offensive player, do unnatural movements towards the defense and get calls, which I love. Steve Kerr loves it.
Yeah,
everyone loves it.
All for it.
Everyone's a fan of it. And I think it partly could be that because he does bait calls. You know, a lot of these offensive players do. I think it might just be a frustration period right now.
I think so. And for anyone who isn't high on Zach LaVine, if you watch Dame play and you watch Zach LaVine play, they play exactly the fucking same.
They do actually.
It's like play style.
Except one's a really good facilitator.
Yeah, not full skill set, but in terms of putting the ball in the hole, exactly the same.
Yeah, they really do play the same.
So if you love Dame, but you think Zach LaVine is bad, just watch them play. As for the other Bulls, DeRozan had an up and down game.
LaVine in the other Bulls.
Yeah, LaVine in the other Bulls. Like Vooch had a bad game. Caruso had an average game.
I mean,
Lonzo played all right.
Lonzo's been playing great.
He has. This is his first like all right game.
Caruso's already shown to be the glue guy.
Yeah.
Here's the offense we needed from A to B. Caruso's stitching it together and it's going to make sense. You know, it's already evident.
He's the gorilla glue.
DeRozan, in my opinion, has been the best player so far.
Yes.
He has been so consistent offensively.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it makes it so much easier for LaVine to just pop off. Vooch has had like one good game so far. He does. And
He's struggling to find his spot.
He is. And I don't know if it's the system or like... He was great in Orlando, but he was the number one guy in Orlando. Some players can't be anything but the number one option.
I've never actually thought of that, but yeah, you might be right.
Like that's what it's looking like so far. Because I like Vooch. We both like Vooch.
We love Vooch.
But he's not looked great since going to Chicago.
Think about this, right? We are a big fan of Evan Fournier, right?
Yes.
Absolute shot creator, sniper, very good. Looked like shit in Boston. He's now playing very well in the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it's the system. Maybe it'll just take Vooch a bit longer to get used to it. We didn't think it would take Vooch time at all. We thought he would just come in and be a monster.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But yeah, Evan Fournier and your New York Knicks.
Oh, you mean my Bing Bong Knicks? Bing Bong. God, I freaking love the Knicks.
Bing Bong?
Now. Did you not see the video?
No. Oh, is this the fans
fan
yelling
video?
again? I
Just
hate
a
them.
rant.
I hate them.
Knicks
They get one win and they lose their shit.
Yeah, I feel like I would love every fan base. Like if Detroit
I hate New York.
get
I
a
hate
win, I know you do, and I think it's partly the reason why I love them because I know you can't stand them and it makes me happy.
Stand them.
I don't want to talk about the fans.
Good.
You know, I want to talk about this team and in the past, you've hated me talking about Frank Ntilikina and his Knickerbockers. You know. And I understand.
It's now. I'm happy you're talking about the Knicks now because Frankie Smokes isn't there and they're good now.
They're good. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even last year. Last year it was like they're all right.
They were a shock to make the playoffs.
They're good.
They are good
this
now.
year.
And like they struggled. Their starters struggled in the first three quarters. I would say the first half, and then Kemba, Fournier, and Randall in that last in the fourth. Towards the end of the third and the fourth quarter, Randall turned it the fuck on and took over.
I want to talk about Randall, and I guess that's a perfect segue into the next big thing I want to talk about. I feel like, I know myself included, but I feel like a large part of the league has really underrated how important one player is on a team. Obviously, you know, your LeBron James,
What do you mean?
Waylon is, and it'll make sense in a second.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm talking players like like your Cade Cunninghams, your Julius Randles, your Trae Young, your Carusos, where they single-handedly change the team. And
Okay.
I'm not talking in a way where it's LeBron James that's going to take you to the finals.
You're not talking about LeBron, Steph, Jokic.
No.
You're talking about the guys under them.
Because, like, I was watching Randall and I was listening to his interviews, and analysts have nothing but praise from him. This year, he's proven to be not just a 1 year thing.
Yeah.
Randall's here to stay, and he's embodied New York. And I guarantee you, New York wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for Randall's personality. Randall has embodied the fan base and the team and his bulldog mentality. Because, like it or not, if you're a New York fan, you're a bulldog team. That's all you're ever going to be. You've been the underdog for 40 fucking years, 50 years.
Especially with Tibbs as your coach, you're going to play bulldog basketball.
And it's the same thing with Jimmy Butler. He just came to Miami and it was like, oh, I am Heat culture. I fit perfectly. Randall fits perfectly. Another guy which I feel like isn't getting enough talk as even just a second-year player, Anthony Edwards, has changed Minnesota.
That's true. True.
Minnesota now, and it's purely because of Anthony Edwards, I'm like, I may have to take this team seriously in the next year or two. I know Cat's great offensively. I know D'Lo's efficient and can be really good as a point guard or shooting guard, whatever you want to play him. Anthony Edwards, to me, is not only a bucket getter, he's someone that single-handedly changes the way you look at a team and a franchise.
I agree with you. It is rare, but I agree with you.
But it's like, it's not the weirdest thing to come across. Because, like, I know you said it's rare, and it is. We don't have, 10,000 Carusos rolling around on the floor. We don't have all these guys like Anthony Edwards.
No, I meant, sorry, it's rare that I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's true as well. But it's... I guess, yeah, it's quite easy to come across, but I think it's just hard for a team to really go in on it. Julius Randle was a gamble.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, granted, besides his skill set, his personality was a gamble.
Yeah, that was a big thing leading into his draft is he going to be personality-wise the right fit?
And Trae Young gave this Atlanta squad an identity. He was like, because Atlanta looked like a fucking joke.
They were a
so
shit
long.
show. Yeah.
And it wasn't, I know it was Trae's play that really made him shine. And, if for once Atlanta fans are like, we don't need Luka, we're good. We've had success, we're good. And it's the fact that Trae Young welcomes all the crap from being an underdog. He's the point guard version of Joel Embiid.
He's 6'1" and he knows it.
And I think a big part of if you're a crap franchise like Phoenix of 6 years ago, all these franchises which are bottom, like Detroit, Cade, I can see being one of these guys which come in and be like,
changes the culture for the better.
I want to win.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this, Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
Get off the PS2. It's time to ball.
Get off the PS2. Jeremy Grant still playing the game black for the PS2.
Wow, that's a throwback.
15 years after release, he says,
damn.
it's just that good. But no, I get you. I get you.
I just feel like it's a thing that we should be keeping an eye on when we're looking at these younger players and like who could potentially, not just who's going to have the craziest upside offensively.
Who can help change the culture.
Who's going to change this culture? And it may not need to be an existing veteran, your Iguodalas and whatnot.
Colin Sexton changed the culture in Cleveland.
Absolutely, but he's going to be gone soon. So
I don't think he's leaving.
I was talking to Adam about this recently.
Sex in the land, you know what I mean?
And I listen to a lot of different analyst hosts, whatever you want to call them, like talk about basketball in general.
Losers.
Because a lot of losers like yourself. But I want to say 50 to 60% of them are convinced Sexton's gone this year. And I'll tell you the reason why. We love Sexton. Sexton's a freaking great player. 25 points per game.
Yeah.
Good defender on ball. Being a better and better facilitator every year. And for whatever reason, apparently, the front office is in love with Garland, has nothing to say about Sexton. And I don't know what the heck is going on. They love Garland.
They do. The league and the announcers
love him.
Love Garland.
And nothing to say about Sexton. And that's what everyone's just so convinced. At what point do you start praising the best player on your team? Yeah. Or do you before you realize maybe they just don't want him for the future? I don't get it. Now, Cleveland's a whole nother
That's a
thing to
can of
tackle,
eggs.
but I just think I wanted to touch on that because Julius Randle has obviously made this Knicks squad very, very good. Anthony Edwards is a guy to keep your eye on in Minnesota. You know, we've seen Caruso and Lonzo Ball change this Chicago team.
Yeah.
LaVine's been in Chicago for quite some time. It's never changed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's because of guys like Caruso. They're not going to get 30 points. They're not going to get 20 points for
They're
that
going to
matter.
hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable, and they're going to change that culture.
100%.
You know, and I love where the league's at right now.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about, you know, when we play a video game or a tabletop games, like what's the meta? The meta right now in basketball is something I love. I love it.
It's in a good spot. And like, if back to the game today, if anyone hasn't seen it, at least watch the highlights.
Oh yeah.
It like New York was in the lead for most of the game, and if you turned off with 7 minutes to go in the fourth because New York were up 10, probably fair enough. But it came down to a buzzer beater.
Oh boy, it gives me PTSD. That Lakers game.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, we suck. And we're not gonna have.
We don't have time to talk about LA.
Maybe we do.
No, we definitely don't. Go. What's your next note you've got down?
The last thing I had that I wanted to talk about is just a quick question and I guess discussion is we're having a pretty good year showing the first week or two of the rookies. So obviously Cade's not in with Detroit yet. I hope he's back soon because I'm excited. I want to fade for Cade so badly. But who are the rookies so far that have really stood out to you or even disappointed you for that matter? Let's be real, you know.
Okay, stood out. Scotty Barnes.
I love Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes is really good. Like, he's
insane.
really good. Like, when I was watching the Raptors-Chicago game, it's like, why is Scotty Barnes the best player on the Raptors right now? I mean, he's not actually, but he looked like the best player for that team. You know what I mean?
Very soon he could be.
Anobi is better than him, but like, wow, Scotty Barnes looks very, very good. Evan Mobley, despite Cleveland having... like 3-1, 3-2. Mobley's very, very
the
good.
one I wanted to talk about a little bit. And he's looking insane. Like, his potential, I can see through the roof. He's one of those players where usually, you know, we can say with certain players, like, they do everything. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but they do everything. Mobley does that, but it shows up on the stat sheet. You know? It's insane what Mobley can do. He's absolutely insane. And I think they've got a really, really good core around it if they really want to just focus on building around Mobley and Garland, if that's what they want to do. Mobley doesn't have to play
Mobley and
center at all.
Sexton.
They've got Jared Allen for the long haul.
And they've got a bunch of big guys. But yeah, you're seeing what I saw with Mobley. Because if you remember from the draft episode, Mobley was my pick. He was my guy.
Yep.
And you're seeing it now. He's very fucking talented.
Very good.
He's skilled. And they always talk about, ever since like KP, they're talking about, skilled big man. The big man position is changing. Mobley is that.
Yep. No, he absolutely is.
He's so fucking good. He looks like Chris Bosh. He looks like Chris Bosh. Yeah. And you compare him with Sexton.
The Chris Bosh comparison has me really excited because I can see it.
You can see it now, right?
I can really, really
you
see
can
it.
absolutely see it. But they're the two that have really stood out to me. Scotty Barnes, he looks so good. They both look so polished.
Yeah. I feel like Scotty Barnes is the kind of... And I know he's a great player. I just love his energy more than anything.
Yeah.
He's
Always
such a
smiling,
kid.
always
Such
high
a
energy.
kid. Always
Yeah.
jumping.
Yeah. His youthful
I love
energy.
it.
How about you? Was there any others that surprised you or any that have disappointed you so far?
Biggest surprise so far. Josh Giddy's insane.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did this come from?
Adelaide.
Because, shout out. But we were watching, I think maybe in prep for our draft episode or maybe just after our draft episode, we're watching a lot of these players and you showed me Mobley and whatnot. Josh Giddy was the one group out of like the lottery picks we were talking about. And I was like, I don't see it. He's slow. He's not athletic. Didn't look like he had anything in particular which would have him above everyone else he's going against. But watching him play in OKC, he is polished, insanely clever. His IQ is through the roof.
Very smart guy.
Efficient.
Yep.
Just knows the right plays. He is going to be someone which just slots into a team for the foreseeable future, understands what you need done, and is going to get it done as a starter.
So here's the thing with Giddy, and it's an asset and a skill set you cannot teach that we love, that LaMelo has, that other players have, is that he moves at his pace. Yep. He is never in a rush. It's the same thing with like Jokic. Mm-hmm. And the best players in the world are never in the rush and they move at their pace. And Giddy does that.
Somehow he does that.
Like, I don't know how. It's a skill you can't teach.
You can't. Like you watch Giddy. Watch a few of his games this year. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. He's not quick. He's not athletic. He's not an absolute sniper. Can't bomb it from range. But if you kick it to him and he's open, he's going to hit it. He's going to make plays. He's going to defend. He's going to know when to switch. He's going to know when to roll. He's going to know when to cut. He's going to know all these little things. It's very similar to Caruso in a way where the man just knows how to play basketball.
Yep.
And I think OKC saw that where it's like, Shea is obviously an offensive powerhouse.
Yeah.
30 points, 30 points, 30 points. Great efficiency. Can bomb it from anywhere.
Yeah.
6'6" oversized point guard. It's insane.
Yeah.
And then you pair him with players that just understand the game of basketball and can help make those plays.
That's how they made it to the playoffs.
Yeah. Giddy is this. I think I really
He's a
like
6'8" point guard. Let's pair the 6'6" point guard and the 6'8" point guard.
Do you think the front office, because they played 3 point guards at one point, saw success, and now is not turning back?
100%. They're going to have guys that are 6'8", 6'9", and that's the starting five. Cleveland are like, if they're not 7 foot, get the fuck out of here. And they go to OKC, but like, are you 6'6" to 6'8"? Get in our starting lineup. Like,
I love it.
Another one I want to touch on, Jalen Green. We have to.
I thought you were going to talk about Suggs. But let's talk about Green.
We'll talk about Jalen Green.
Yep.
Did he not just match Michael Jordan's rookie record?
What was the record?
It was like most points average in his like first 3 games.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Let me look it up.
I didn't see that.
Who was the other player you talked about? It was Giddy and someone else.
Oh, those are the main 2 I wanted to talk about.
It was Giddy and someone else. You didn't.
Well, Suggs was another one I wanted to
talk about
touch on.
Suggs, because I haven't really looked at Suggs at
Boy,
all.
he's been disappointing in my opinion. Nothing about Suggs so far has screamed to me, oh, he's going to be really, really special. A lot of these players, this draft class, they've shown, well, not shown to be, obviously, but they've been told to have the potential to be such offensive powerhouses, with Giddy being the exception. But I just don't see it with Suggs. I really don't. At no point am I watching him, and like he looks like an NBA player, but he kind of reminds me of these players that just kind of fall into rotation, like a Josh Jackson, like a Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah,
not saying it's that bad,
but Josh Jackson was a high draft pick.
Yeah,
but Jalen Suggs went to Orlando, no?
Yes. He's showing up. Cole Anthony looks good. Mo Bamba's getting minutes now.
God, what the fuck is Orlando?
New franchise, who dis? It's Mo Bamba. Orlando sucks. And that's why I'm worried. You suck, and the boy's not playing well. Like, we've been talking about Cat for so long. Minnesota sucked. They've sucked for a long time, except for the 1 year they had Jimmy Butler. But Cat, every year, plays really well, And there are just some players, like Jeremy Grant right now does not know how... Cade's not even on the fucking team.
No.
And Jeremy Grant's playing like crap for Detroit. And I have a bad feeling about Suggs.
They definitely overpaid Jeremy Grant after that one performance for us in the playoffs. Yeah. I did just see the Jalen Green stat. I was wrong. It was he tied Michael Jordan with the quickest games for a rookie to get 30 points.
Oh, okay.
That's took him 3 games.
Interesting. Okay.
And that's tied with Michael Jordan for the most.
Interesting. For some reason, I'm actually kind of surprised it took someone 3 games to get 30 points.
3 games? Brother, 3 games!
You've seen the amount of like weird things that have come through the league. Like, do you remember that period of time? And it was a cursed time. But Michael Carter-Williams, you remember him?
Yeah, and you're like Tyreke Evans. They were the
Bro,
rookies for rookies.
Tyreke averaged like 21 points in his rookie year. It was... I'm not defending it. It was... Tyreke ended up being out of the league for like a drug issue or something.
There are 3 players that I hate, that I despise, and I've never told you this. It's Tyreke Evans, Michael Carter-Williams, and that other fucking useless can of piss. You like him. He's playing like 4 or 5 teams, like Chicago.
Smith.
No, he's got that one stat. He's a power forward. It's like players who for a stretch of 10 games average 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a block.
What is this? Who are you talking about?
Oh,
You
look
got
it
a
up.
weird
You
vendetta for someone
fucking
I've got
love
no
him.
idea.
It's just these rookies that like cherry pick stats. He's just a can of piss. I hate him.
I don't like cherry pick stats either, so I'm interested to see who it is because cherry pick stats kind of turn me away from players as well.
It's like most threes on a Sunday in green underpants.
Yeah, like oh god, it's crazy.
There was one they asked Patty Mills about. He's like, you've tied with the most 3-pointers off the bench in NBA history. He's like, on a Tuesday after eating spag bog.
I love Patty. I actually kind of want to get a Patty Mills jersey.
I thought you were going to say tattoo. Here it is. Players with 800 games to average 13.5 points, 5.9 rebounds, 1.4 steals, 49% field goal percentage, and 30% from 3. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, MJ, LeBron, and Thaddeus Young.
Oh, Thaddeus Young.
He is
in that.
It's Thaddeus Young, Michael Carter-Williams, and Tyreke Evans. I fucking hate them.
I
I hate them so much. They're all just
what the fuck? That's such a weird group of kids to
the
hate.
trifecta of people I hate.
You know who's in your like trifecta? I know one player is in your trifecta of people that you're always gonna love.
Yeah.
Etwan Moore, for some fucking reason. You love Etwan Moore. It's like me and James Posey.
No, it's because I, for some reason, know exactly what each one more looks like. I swear I've never seen him play. I've never seen him face. But I could probably do an artist rendition of each one more.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah.
You're a weird man, and
Makes
I love
no
it.
sense.
I love it.
Back to the rookies.
Yeah. You wanted to talk about
Suggs
Green.
sucks. Jalen Green's good. Scotty Barnes is good. Josh Giddy is
I
incredible.
didn't even talk about Green.
Jalen Green's good. He scores.
Oh my
Does he play
God.
defense? No. Does Houston play defense? No.
They've never needed to.
No.
They've never needed to.
The last time I played defense was Yao Ming.
God, and that was one man playing defense.
And him and Shane Battier. No one else in that team played defense. Skip to Mylou didn't. T-Mac didn't.
Oh God.
And whoever else was on that team.
Lou Scola, right? He was.
Yeah,
on that
no, he
team?
played defense. He
he
only
played-
just
no.
retired from NBA basketball.
I wouldn't say that
Not
was
NBA
defense.
basketball, from basketball.
He would punch dudes.
He only just retired from pro basketball. I
Yeah.
just want to point that out.
What was he, like 44 or something?
Yeah.
He was old.
Killing
man.
it. He was
He was
still
old.
killing it in Euroland.
You want to know one? Actually, just reminds me of overseas basketball. Pau Gasol recently retired from professional basketball.
Yeah.
One of the greatest of all time. I love Pau. As a basketball player in general. He did so much for, I believe it was Barcelona and Spain in general. You know,
Yeah.
won medals, awards, everything. Was MVP of that league, I believe. And people have the nerve, and it's these youngins, I swear, they have the nerve to say, "What's Pau done? Why does Barcelona care?"
A lot of LA fans don't respect Pau Gasol.
No, we love him.
I look every time I look online. It used to be. I don't know as much anymore. It was Lakers fans who are like, oh, Pau Gasol didn't do much in the championship run.
Weird.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a weird thing
But
where
after Kobe passed, they appreciate Pau now.
oh, that's rough. I think it's a thing where because I think you're entirely incorrect as a Lakers fan.
As usual, you disagree.
And because I always talk about Adam and his Cavs because unlike you and Denver, he generally likes the Cavs.
I hate you.
And he has never ever had a whiff of the team wanting to get rid of Sexton. But from the outside world in, it's the team wants to get rid of Sexton. And it's the same thing with Pau Gasol. The team fucking loves Pau Gasol. We've been trying to get his jersey retired for years. And the outside world thinks we don't love Pau. And it's just really weird. Because like I'm sure there's some Denver stuff. I just don't care enough about Denver.
So now it's me and Adam against you, it seems.
In what? I'd whoop you both. In what though?
No, in disagreement. You see fans differently to the way Adam and I see the fans.
Oh, no, I agree. You guys don't like dickhead fans. I love them. I think they make or break a team. You know, if you're going to be the Minnesota fan base saying,
How did I know?
I'll bake you cookies, cat. Go play Fortnite. I love you, brother.
How did I know you'd say
I
Minnesota?
would rather
No one's
have
written that.
Bing bong. I'm the Knick fan. Fuck you, Trae Young. I love that shit. I love it. I live for it. Lakers fans aren't like that. Very few fans are like that. But the ones that stand out, like I love Philly fans. I love Knicks fans.
What's your thought on Brooklyn fans
I
breaking in and protesting Did you see the protests?
I did. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
Gross.
And you know what pisses me off is I don't think Kyrie Irving's come out and mentioned it at all. He needs to speak
He
on
put
it.
a statement out today.
I saw him put a fucking hourglass picture
That's
up.
it. That was his statement.
And then there was a comment. It was like, "We will soon see," or some shit with the praying. Kyrie, get your shit together.
I don't know.
I'll fuck you up, Kyrie. No, I can't. He'll beat the shit out of me.
Oh, he
I'll
would.
admit it.
He's like
I'll admit
6'4".
it. Or unless, but if I get the sage out, he ain't touching me. He ain't touching
He'll
me.
punch you through the sage.
But yeah, basically to sum it up, I love the league and where it's at. The rookies, they're looking exciting. I really want Cade to come back.
Do we have a start date? Do we have a release date on Cade Cunningham?
Not that I'm aware of,
No.
unfortunately. But
Hopefully we can break street date and get him as soon as possible.
yeah, you hooked me up with a good deal.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
I know a
'cause
guy.
I would want to watch. I never thought I'd say this. I would want to watch Detroit games. I would like to see them play basketball on a professional level when Cade comes back.
Do you want to know something funny? So
Oh,
I have
always.
Fridays off, right?
Yeah.
I went out and got myself some food, and I was home reasonably early. So I got to watch the entire Bulls next game. I got to watch like a lot of the Memphis and Golden State game.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw the Wizards were playing, and I said, I'd rather do the dishes. And that was absolutely my honest opinion.
Look, you're not alone though, because I was working from home the other day, and there were a lot of games on from like 8:30 to like 1:30 our time, because they play during the day here in Australia. And I looked at, I want to see 80% of those games, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do work. I'm gonna be honest, like
You love the league. You love where the league's at.
I love where some teams are at. I'm not going to watch New Orleans right now. Where's Zion? Getting really big, but he's not on the court. There are just so many teams that need more players.
Ingram's playing really well, but look, I'm with you. If there's ever an Orlando Wizards game, I'd rather stare at the floor.
I'd rather,
And Wizards are 4-1.
yeah, it's insane. And it's that mentality, I'm telling you, of Kuzma and stuff like that. They just needed to show up. But, yeah, some teams I'd help you do the dishes. I'll dry it, man. I'm not watching the Wizards and Orlando and New Orleans.
Like it even had
God,
Atlanta, and I'm just like, I'm not doing this.
This goes to show you how much I want to see Cade play. I just said I'd watch them play
Watch Detroit.
if Cade was on the court.
Yeah.
That's shout out Cade. You all the viewers would watch you because no one's watching right now.
No. So there's two things I get. We've known for a while is that superstars draw eyes, right? You want to watch Cade play, and that there is too many fucking games.
It gets exhausting.
There was 6 games or something on today.
Yeah, which isn't even overly that much.
But
we've had ones
but then
with 8 to 12.
every single day there's that. You know what I mean? There needs to be 62 games over a longer period of time to make each game more impactful.
I agree with you. One thing I love about the NFL is it's football Sundays. Let's get together on a Sunday, watch the football that's on the Sunday. Whereas, I mean, I guess it's good for us because we've got stuff to talk about, every week on the pod. But yeah, every day, between 4 to 12 games, it gets a lot. But then we take it for granted when there's no basketball, and it's like
True, but we also don't get to talk about the stuff that happened earlier in the week. Like Heat Nets played. That's 2 of my favorite teams in the East, and I love that game. And there's other more important things to talk about, or recent stuff I want to talk about. You know what I mean?
I want to talk about next episode. Write it down. We'll talk about the Nets because I do want to talk about the Nets too. Because someone needs to find James Harden.
Yeah.
Where's James Harden?
We'll leave it at the James we're used to, but we will call it for this week.
A little thing for next, end of this episode, leading into.
If anyone knows Harden, get him to call in.
I'll pop his number in the comments section of this pod.
You're gonna pop his number.
Your number.
You're not
What do you
putting
mean? You're
my
not
number.
James Harden.
I thought you said you had Harden's number. No, if anyone knows Harden, get him to give me a call. We'll have a call in. We'll FaceTime, and we'll ask him a few questions.
Yeah.
But that'll be next week. If you've made it through this far and all our ramblings, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. Recording this is a favorite part of our week every week. We're doing a nighttime episode this week because our schedules didn't match up on the weekend. We are on Spotify. We are on Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, Breaker, on YouTube. If you're only listening to this audio, we do have a video podcast. And guess what? It's pretty fucking good. We've got an updated setup this season, and it looks a lot better. I loved last season's setup, but this one looks even better.
This one's sexy.
100%. It is sexy, ladies and gentlemen. It is sexy.
Also, what you'd be noticing if you do watch our content is I've been putting up little, I guess, snippets of videos, and they're actually quite enjoyable. So if you want to hear us talk about, just more of the interesting segments, because there are going to be parts in here, just our chemistry, we naturally just riff off of each other. Mm-hmm. We don't get to talk about analytical stuff, but there are obviously the first half, I would say 80% of this episode has been pretty analytical. Mm-hmm. And those will be chopped and screwed, baby boy.
The B-side.
Yeah, the B-side.
No, this is the A-side. We don't have a B-side.
Into its own video, which will go like 5-10 minutes long. So those
100%. Also, if you don't have enough time for the full podcast, I understand you guys are busy. If you don't have time for the full hour, watch the small segments we put up. Even if it's just me yelling about cans of piss. The trifecta of piss.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, good luck trying to get me to make that a video.
Please cut that. And for the thumbnail, have the skull of... Not the skull. Have a picture of the 3 I hate. But yeah, if you can't watch the full pod, we are putting up snippets just like of the topics we talk about. It's all on the YouTube. Please head over. Josh puts a lot of work into the editing, and it would mean a lot if you could watch that and tell your friends about it, because we think we do a good podcast, and we think everyone should hear and watch us. So if you've made it through this far, thank you very, very much. We're going to call it for the night. Have a good weekend. Happy Halloween. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.